Hello everyone. It is so close to the time. I welcome you to our webinar, Break Free. This is going to be fabulous. And I am so excited to be here and bring you some such valuable information that is going to have you get unstuck. You know, I understand and I know how it feels to feel you are not living the life you want to live. That you're not the person you want to be, and you're not gaining the success that you want to gain. It's very frustrating. It's very, it causes anger and even confusion because you're trying every door you think and you can't find a way out. I was there, but when I made the decision to love my life, be happy, just really live, and I said, enough is enough. The teachers, the mentors, the experiences that came into my life and opened my eyes and taught me the tools to live the life I want to live were phenomenal. It took making that decision and just opening my eyes and being open to opportunities. One mentor I had taught me my very last lesson in my book. It was about letting go. And my book is You Can't Escape from a Prison If You Don't Know You're in One. What's Blocking Your Freedom? And I remember when I learned that lesson, it started me on, freeing myself. But then again, he became my mentor, my guide in my career, my guide in my life. I want to introduce you to a very, very special man. He is someone you probably know. He was on The Secret. But he's also one of the most insightful, wise, caring, and compassionate person I know. And I'm honored to be able to have him on this show. Between the two of us, we are going to start you on your fabulous journey of your life. I would love for you to welcome Mr. Bob Proctor.
Well, thank you, Alena. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you, very much so. Well, Bob, do you remember the first time I met you?
I do remember the first time I met this woman, and I'm going to tell you, she talks about being stuck. She was stuck. And you know, there's a lot of people that are stuck. They just don't know what to do. They can't go ahead, they can't go back, and they can't stay where they are. That is stuck. And you know, I have known Alena now for a number of years. And I have watched her totally transform her life. But like an astronomer, she's charted her course of what she's done. And you know, she was wise in doing that because now it's transferable. She can show you exactly how to do what she's done. She's a very happy, very successful,
yes,
beautiful human being.
Thank you.
I have watched her change, just change her life totally. But the beautiful part is that she did chart it. And she got all the dots to connect. You know, it took me 9.5 years to do what she did in a relatively short period of time because she made up her mind she was going to do that when she started to change. Now, like Alena's just said, if you are tired of being tired, if you don't want to stay where you are, if you want to improve your income, I watched you multiply your income.
Yes.
Literally multiply it.
Yes.
Now, I've often mentioned that I've been doing this for over 50 years. I was doing this before this lady was born. And I've watched a lot of people change, but I haven't seen many people change like she has. So if you want to improve your income, if you want to develop meaningful relationships, not just relationships, a relationship, you can go online and, you know, throw in your profile, look at somebody else's, and bang, you're together. but you probably haven't got a real meaningful relationship. If you want to improve your income, improve your relationships, if you want to begin spending your time, your days, doing something that's really fulfilling, I think this lady has something for you. So I'm going to ask you to just clear your mind of any thoughts that are going on. And if you have something else to do, just set it aside for a few minutes. Because 30, 40 minutes from now, I guarantee you, like Johnny Nash sang a song years ago, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I see all obstacles in my way.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you're going to be in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Right on.
So, Alena, let's go to work.
Yeah, now today we're both going to offer you these tools. Now, I want to tell you how we tell you to go about it, because it is strategic. How we suggest to do it is how you really should do it.
Well, let me interrupt you just for a second, Alena.
Okay.
I want you to think for a moment, if you were going to learn how to drive a car, they have driving schools. They've got good instructors you could go to. And of course, you would want to get a good instructor. Now, maybe your dad or your mother or your boyfriend or girlfriend or somebody like that could show you how. And you're driving a car. Let's suppose you want to learn how to fly a plane. I don't think you'd be going to your hairdresser or the barber to get instructions how to get that plane in the air and back safely on the ground. You would want to go to a very qualified flight instructor.
Yes.
I took a few lessons flying. I didn't particularly like it, so I didn't continue with it. But I made sure the person really knew what they were doing. Well, it's the same with this.
Very much so.
This woman has done what we're going to talk about. And like I say, I've been in this business for over 50 years. I have a great reputation worldwide. I am not going to jeopardize my reputation by endorsing someone that really doesn't know what they're doing. This lady knows what she's doing. And I asked her to let me come on this webinar and just endorse what she's doing because it's so good. I want you to get it.
I want you to get it too. Thank you. The first thing I want you to do, everyone should have had a questionnaire, and a self-examining questionnaire that you alone get in your email. I'd like you to take that out now, because there's a tool on there that is going to just blow your mind. It's new. It's called the default scale. Right now, we are offering you tools. We are offering you something to change your life. And I want you to kind of notice, how are you feeling about that right now? Is it getting a little butterfly in your tummy? Or are you on the one side of this scale saying, no way, this is a scam. I just can't do this. How can I change my life? Are they crazy? That is the non-accepting side. Or are you in the middle saying, you know, they might have something, I'm going to listen up. I'm going to just kind of give this a shot. Or are you over where I was when I made the decision I really wanted to change, and it's, yes, I am ready to go. I am going to grab these opportunities. Where are you on that scale? Now, this isn't just for this webinar. This is for life, because how you deal with this new opportunity of this webinar is most likely how you deal in your life with every opportunity that comes your way.
Do you know, Alena, I remember, just when you're talking about this, I remember when I first changed. It was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. It was more years than I care to count, actually. It was 55 years ago. But I was broke. I was unhappy. You talk about being stuck. I was very stuck. And I met a man that got me to sit down and take a look at the results I was getting. I was unhappy, I was sick, and I was broke. And he said, you don't have to live like that.
Right.
Why don't you change your results? It never entered my mind that I could change my results. I just woke up in the morning and I would go to work.
Right.
And he said, listen, he said, if you'll do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you want. Well, I really didn't believe that. And you may be in that position. You may not believe that. But I believed he believed it.
Right.
And I don't know why, but I just decided I was going to do exactly what he said. Now, I was earning $4,000 a year. Do you know, a year later, I was earning $175,000 a year.
That's amazing.
And in less than 5 years, I took it over $1 million.
That's just...
Well, you're experiencing the same kind of change.
I am.
And you can experience that. You may not believe it. You don't have to believe it. If you do exactly what we tell you, you're going to see like that. The results start to change.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I want to just assure you that everyone can change. And everyone can open their mind to these possibilities and these opportunities. That's all it takes. And then going for them. That's why we do things like the default scale and learning some of these tools. I want to talk about one tool that is tossed around so easily, but I don't think we totally understand how to use it or what's going to benefit us the most. That's gratitude. Now, Bob, I know, has a fabulous gratitude exercise that raises your vibration. But gratitude has so many purposes. Number one, it brings you into the present. It brings you to the here and the now. And it makes everything. On top of that, when you practice gratitude, you're taking the best part of your life to launch forward in your day. You are just so happy with your family. You take that feeling into your day. And when gratitude reaches wonder, that awesome feeling of this universe, then guess what? Opportunities are knocking at your door. It's phenomenal. We all have something to be grateful for. We have our families, we have the sunset, we have the people around us, we have the birds in the sky. Every day, the sky is a different sky for us. It's the universe saying, hey, here's your gift today.
You know, as you're mentioning that, Alena, I want you to imagine that somebody's listening to us that's really troubled.
Yeah.
They're probably not too interested in birds or the sky.
No.
But the gratitude is such a phenomenal lesson. Because what gratitude actually does, when you let yourself get emotionally involved for something you're truly grateful for, and it's not easy to shift if you're troubled to something you're grateful for. But the second you do, you move into a new vibration. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration.
Right.
So just admiring the beautiful sky may be all you need to change how you feel. Or take a look at a bird. You know, you say it's so silly. No, it's not silly. It has nothing to do with the bird. It has to do with the shift you're making in your mind.
That's right.
You know, the movie The Secret was based on some phenomenal principles. That's why 500 million people saw it. Mm-hmm. But it was based on the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And on chapter 7, in The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles said, the entire process of mental adjustment. And if we're stuck, we need a mental adjustment, because it all starts in the mind.
Yes.
The entire process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. Gratitude hooks you up to your source of supply. Gratitude like that will change the vibration you're in. Gratitude is the way to start your day. I don't care what you're at. I don't care how your troubles are. You might feel like you're in quicksand over your head. It doesn't matter. It's like I said to Alena, you cannot escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. Know that your life isn't the way you want it. The way to begin changing it is through gratitude.
It's through gratitude. It definitely is.
For almost anything.
It is. It was, you know, when I found myself at the bottom, and I sat on the side of a country road, actually, and I felt that sun, and I saw the blue sky. You know what hit me and was my wake-up call? I didn't have gratitude. That was my wake-up call. That's when I knew my life had to change, right then and there. That's when I said enough is enough. It was the lack of gratitude I felt. And we all get there. Let it be your wake-up call. Start to change your mind shift. Bob, would you tell them he has an awesome exercise that I love. Would you tell him the
Well, you know, the exercise, it came about, it just came to me. I was in Phoenix doing a seminar And Sandy Gallagher, who is my business partner, was going through a very troubled time in her life. And I was leaving town. She was staying there doing some work. And she said, would you have a cup of coffee with me before you leave town? I said, sure. So we went across the road from where the seminar was, and we sat down in this coffee shop. And she said, like I was aware of what her problems were. She had discussed them with me. And they were big. I mean, she was troubled. And she said, could you give me 2 or 3 ideas that would really help me through this? And I said, sure I can. I didn't know what I was going to tell her, but I said, sure I can. So I just took the napkin that was on the table, and I took a pen, and I wrote on it, number 1, every morning when you wake up, write down 10 things you're grateful for. Now I said, you may not feel like doing this, do it anyway. If you want to get out of the spot you're in, 10 things you're grateful for. Then send love to 3 people who are bothering you. And I looked at her and she was ready to say, drop that right now. I said, listen, you might want to break that person's legs. I mean, you might not really want to send them any good at all. But here's what you want to understand. There's a power flowing to and through you. And if you're holding bad thoughts about someone that maybe have hurt you, it's you that's in the bad vibration, not them. By sending love to them, you're putting yourself in a loving vibration. And if you're in a loving vibration, that's all you're going to attract is love. So I said, practice it. It may be difficult, do it. It's not easy to change anything. It takes energy, it takes effort.
Ooh, we just went off.
And what you want to do is write down 3 things or 10 things that you're grateful for. Then send love to 3 people who are bothering you.
Right.
And when you've got that all done, be quiet for about 5 minutes and ask for direction for the day. Just ask for direction for the day. Now I said, you get in the habit of doing that, it'll change your life. I phoned my assistant and I said, could you make up a pad like this? Do you know within an hour, she had the pad made up on her computer, took it to Kinko's and brought it over and gave it to Sandy.
That's cool.
Sandy's told this story many, many times because it changed her life. She was going to Hawaii with her sister and her mother, and she had pads made for them. And they thought this was silly. But every morning, they would sit outside their cabana or wherever it was, and they did this. It changed her mother's life and changed her sister's life, and it'll change your life.
It will.
Write down 10 things you're grateful for. Send love to 3 people that are bothering you. That may be difficult. Do it anyway. It's putting you in a love vibration.
That's right.
And then be quiet for 5 minutes and ask for direction for the day.
And it's awesome.
This is a great part of this program.
Thank you. I think so too.
If you want to break free,
If you want to
that's
break
the
free,
program.
This is the way.
That's where you start.
It's where you start. You have to start there. Now, let's go on to the second tool for you. Because I find this with so many people. It's taking responsibility. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about responsibility because sometimes when I say to people, you need to take responsibility, they say, oh, but it's the key. Who else is going to steer your ship? Who else is going to rule your life? When we let circumstances and people rule our life, we become subordinate to their decisions. We can't sell houses because the real estate market's awful. Because our dad was a doctor, now we're a doctor. We let others tell us what we're going to do with our life. And then do you know what that does and why it's so important not to let this happen? Is because then it puts in our mind, victim. We have no control. Everything's out here. But when and the other thing, this is important. Good luck, oh my gosh, it's good luck when something happens. But when something bad happens or mistakes happen, that's the natural way life is. Life is hard. But when you take responsibility, when you decide to make the decisions, then all of a sudden, you're in control. You're not a victim. And as you start making decisions and seeing how it works for you and how you're doing well with it, all of a sudden, you start having the mindset of victory.
You know, Alena, I think this is probably one of the keys to the breaking free.
It is.
I really believe, I love the way you've got this in the program. Responsibility is really the key to freedom.
It really is.
Because if you don't take responsibility for everything that happens in your life, then you're a victim.
That's right.
Victims lose.
Victims lose.
And you're pointing to someone or something and you're saying, that's why I'm where I am.
Yeah.
You can't change circumstance and you can't change other people.
No.
But you can change yourself, as you've learned.
You can.
And the responsibility, there's another part in the program that you've got that I love.
Oh, good.
You're responsible to people, not for them.
Right.
You're responsible for your children until they reach a certain age. Then you're responsible to them. Do you know there's all kinds of mothers that feel responsible for mistakes their children are making, and their children are in their 40s or 50s. Well, it's true.
I know.
They still feel responsible for them.
Yeah.
You are not responsible for anyone else. You're responsible to them. You're responsible to be everything you're capable of being. And you are God's highest form of creation. There is nothing that will equal you. And when you do take this responsibility, as Alena's got here in the Breaking Free program, you're going to love this particular aspect of the program because it really is the key to freedom. I remember when I looked at that, when I went over your program, I thought, wow, this in itself is worth the cost of the money and the time that you spend on this program. You're going to absolutely love it. This is the part you're going to start sharing with everybody you come in contact with.
I'll tell you a quick story. I had Brian came to me, and Brian was newly divorced. Now, he had moved to this town that he didn't like so that his wife at that time could be with her family, and it was a good place to raise kids, but he liked the East Coast. Well, when they got divorced, he felt he had to stay there, and he was getting very frustrated. He did not like it, and he felt out of control. So he came to me, and I said, you've got to change your circumstances. He worked with me for 2 weeks, and he took responsibility. He started wanting to improve his relationship with his boys, and he started doing visualizations and things, thinking of how he wanted to be with his boys, where he would take them, what he would talk to them about. And then he took a big step. He went to his employer, and he said, I know you have a section of this company that travels. Can I apply for it? And he applied for the job, and now he gets to travel. So he gets his fill of a world outside of that town, but still gets to be with his kids and improve that relationship. You see, he took responsibility. He said, I can make the change. That's the first step.
When a person does take responsibility and they don't like where they are, immediately they begin thinking of how to change where they are.
Immediately.
I never really understood this until Ray was my Alena. Ray was the guy that got me to change, Ray Stanford. And I really thought this is just the way my life is and there's nothing I could do about it.
Right.
He said, you can change any aspect of your life. You can change your name if you want.
Yeah, you can.
You can change anything. You can have whatever you want in life. But he said, you've got to take responsibility for where you are before you can change anything. And I think, like I said, I think that's the key part of this program.
It is. It is.
The gratitude will get you on the right track, but you got to make the changes.
You've got to make the decision, and you've got to move forward. Now, there's one more tool, because I want to give you value, and something is going to click with someone more than something else. So this is the last one. This one's a big one. So many times when we take responsibility, we'll hold on to it, but then when the first problem comes, a lot of us will back away and start depending on everybody else to fix our problem. And what happens? You've just fallen right back into that subordinate victimhood place that you tried to get out of. This next tool or concept that I have that I think is just so important and works with responsibility, is the pivotal piece. Now, so often we talk about self-image, self-love, self-awareness, all these things. Now, these are working on yourself. I like to call that self-value. All those things, all those feel-good, wonderful things. They're self-value. Now, why is self-value so important? Because self-value leads to self-trust. Learning about what we know about ourselves, to believe in ourselves, in our capabilities to make the decisions, to listen to what really means, what is important to us, and what we see as the clear vision. That way, when mistakes happen, we don't panic. We understand they are a lesson for us to learn from and then let go. If a challenge comes, we might get information from other people we think are experts, but then we rely on ourselves to make the decision. We are in control. When good things happen, we say, of course, it's meant to be. When bad things happen, we think we've got to grow. It's as simple as that. We trust who we are, and that comes under self-value. Don't you find that?
Well, yeah, but you see, what you've got here, breaking free is a very complete program. If you want to break free, if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of being tired, if you're sick of being sick, if you really want to change your income, change your relationships, change your life, the pattern is here. There is an absolute pattern where you're starting off with gratitude. You get yourself in the right vibration, is what you're doing with the gratitude part of it. So it's important that you really look after that. The second part is responsibility. And that's when you decide, this is what I don't like, that's what I don't like. Mm-hmm. And if I brought this into my life, I've got the ability to change it. Yeah. Do you know, Viktor Frankl was a Viennese psychiatrist, spent the war years in a German concentration camp. I don't suppose anyone has ever been subjected to more physical and mental abuse than someone in his position. And he said, regardless of the intellectual or physical abuse he was subjected to, no one could cause him to think something he didn't want to think. See, he took responsibility for where he was, and he literally changed the course of his life. Maxwell Maltz talked about what you're talking about back in 1960. Yeah. And it was considered the greatest psychological discovery of his generation, this cybernetic mechanism.
Right.
It's a science of control and communication in the animal and some machine. You've got a control mechanism in your mind. And that's the third part here. This is where you've got to build an image of who you want to be, right, how you want to live. Right. And you've got to put it in the present tense. If you really want to break free, this is the program I'm going to tell you. I've been around this material for a long, long time. I spent 5 years working with Earl Nightingale and Lloyd Conant in Chicago. That's where the programs were being made. And I'm going to tell you, on every program I've seen, and I've seen a lot of them over the past 50 years, this lady has put one together that I think it'll go viral when it gets out there. Because people want to be freedom. You see, it's part of our inherent nature. It's part of our spiritual nature to be free. Spirit's always for expansion and fuller expression. And that's what breaking free does. You've done a phenomenal job of putting this together.
Well, and because I want your success so much, I want you to feel this freedom. I want you to have confidence in yourself. I want you to have that self-value and that responsibility. I've put a little bundle together, and I want to let them know. Breaking Free is a self-guided course. You can listen to it in your car. You can listen to it while you're doing laundry or whatever at lunch. But I want to add to that because I want you to get the very best. I have an online course called Create Your Life. It's 12 weeks long. And I am enrolling everyone who joins the Break Free program into that course. Once a week, you will have me for a webinar talking about different aspects of breaking free and adding some others. I will keep in close contact with you. and you will get to see how to apply this right to your life. In week 5, there are empowering groups that are formed where you will be with your peers in supportive, nurturing environment to move yourselves forward. And then the last part of this very special bundle that I want to offer to you is four private coachings with me. People really do pay a lot for those coachings, and I want to offer them. One in the beginning of the class so that I know where you're going, in the middle of the class so that I make sure that things are you're starting to implement this into your life the way you need to, and in the end to make sure you know where you're going and where you want to go. So you will get direct contact with me, plus studying on your own, plus help with your peers. I am setting up a whole environment of success for you through this program. That is my goal.
You know, Carl Menninger from the Menninger Foundation one time said that environment is more important than heredity.
It is.
In other words, the environment you put yourself in plays a greater role than what's built into the genes at birth.
It is.
The part where she's talking about part 5, about getting with your peers, that's valuable. But the speed coaching, the personal speed coaching, you're going to be amazed at just how much this woman can help you in a very short period of time. It'll make a big difference in your life. You're only with her for a very short period of time, and wham, like that, everything falls into place. She will bring order to your life. Order is heaven's first law. If you want to feel heavenly, get things in order in your life. Because you see, it's because things are not in order that you're stuck. Breaking free changes that.
That's right. Thank you. And yes, that's exactly what we want to do. Now, just so that you know, in this program, the program by itself is offered for $497. The online course is $1,300 for 12 weeks. And the coaching is for 4 coachings, it's $1,000. You're talking a $2,540 product. And I looked at that and I thought, no, because that's not what I want to do. Because I want to make this accessible for as many people as I possibly can. So I took it down 60%, and I made it $997 for everything. That's it's unheard of. I've not seen that. Now, right now I want you to kind of look at that default scale because here is the opportunity. This is an opportunity. The one thing I remember very clearly when I made up my mind that I wanted to change, and all those teachers and mentors came into my life in all shapes and forms, I didn't say no. That's how much I wanted to change. I did not say no. Did I worry about what I was going to do, if I wasn't going to get the money, whatever? No, I didn't. I knew that my life had to change. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to live the life I wanted to live. And so I did it. And I have never looked back. It was the best investment I could have ever made. So I want you to kind of look at your default scale. Where are you at in this default scale? I'm hoping you're saying, it's time to move. It's time to make it happen. Don't you think that's what it takes?
Well, you know, when you're looking at this, let me give you some advice that I've developed over the past 50 years. Don't even look sideways. Don't ask anyone what they think you should do.
No.
They are not going to change your life. You're going to change your life. And for you to change your life, you must have the proper information. You've got to have the proper tools. This program, Breaking Free, with all the other packaged in, is going to change you like night and day. Now ask yourself this. What difference is it going to make in my life? It's going to make a huge difference. It's going to change your life. Do you know, it's oddly enough, that's exactly what it cost me to start back in 1961.
You're kidding.
It was $980. I didn't have 980 cents. I had to borrow the money.
Yeah.
And I was reading in books where to get the money. And one place it said if you have to borrow $100 from 10 people, go and do it. I made up my mind I was going to do it. The fact that you haven't got the money, you don't need the money until you make the decision to do this. Make that decision now, and the way will be shown. I guarantee you, that is one of the parts of the programs that you're going to find. When you make a decision, everything is required for the manifestation of the decision you make is going to come to you. It'll just come. And that is how your life changes. Decision is one of the greatest lessons. Napoleon Hill wrote an entire chapter on it in his book. And he pointed out that all the successful people make decisions very fast and change them very slow if and when they change them at all. Make your decision now. Hit the button. Get the program. Break free. You will be glad you did. And if you happen to run into me in a seminar or a convention or something, and Break Free changed your life, I want you to come up, shake hands with me and tell me. Because this lady will change your life as fast as anything. I got to congratulate you. You put a great program together.
Thank you. And I want to say thank you to all of you. I think that you have taken a wonderful step even coming to this webinar. Don't stop now. I want to see you in what? 5 weeks, 12 weeks? I want to see you living the life that you want to live.
Hit the button, get the program, break free.
It's that simple. Have an awesome day, everyone. And let's thank Mr. Bob Proctor for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely wonderful. All right. Bye-bye now. I look forward to seeing you. Still looking. All right. All right, Bob.
You're not going to give them payments?
Payments? What do you mean? That they can pay in little, yeah, when they call, they can do that too. For $9.97, they can pay like 2 or 3 little payments.
Should have told them that.